Right, we're live now, Pat.
That's cool.
And everybody.
Very good.
Right now I can see you all. Right, okay.
Perfect.
That's lovely. I'll just get it the live up on my phone and we're ready to rock and roll.
Cool.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Coffee Time. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Patrick Monaghan. As you know, me and Patrick have been friends for some time, and we join together once a month to give spiritual healing on Zoom. And as you're all aware, I like to have different guests on and we talk about different subjects and all the rest of it. So I've invited Pat to talk about trance healing today. I first started out as a trance healer many moons ago when we both had black hair, Pat.
That was a good while ago.
Yeah, a little while ago, yeah. But anyway, Pat, welcome and thanks for coming on.
Thanks,
and
Stephen.
If you'd like to tell us where your journey started, how it started and all the rest of it, that'd be great.
Well, my journey started years and years ago, and I didn't even know about it, to be honest, Stephen. My mum had several heart attacks, and you go in and visit her, and she'd always get better, and that sort of way. And then I used to have a medium that used to call to my house quite often, and I'd take her over to Limerick. She'd do readings in the shop, and she asked one time if she could bring her mentor with her. I said, yeah, that'd be lovely. But when she walked in the door, she looked at me and she went, oh my God, you're the highest healer I've ever seen. I said, I don't do healing. She said, you do. I said, no, I don't. She said, you absolutely do. I said, no, I don't know anything about it. I said, tell me about it, though, if you're so interested in that. She said, your words, your touch. She said, you've been healing people for years. I said, I didn't know about it. So we sat down and we discussed it. She was here for the week. We discussed every aspect and we did everything. And that's where I learned that I did healing. But I didn't have a clue about it at first because no one ever told me. I didn't. Over in Ireland here, you can do churches and circles. You have to go 3 hours to Cork or 3 hours to Dublin. So I've never done that. I've never gone up that far for church or anything. So that's where I learned from the lady there, Layla Kay. And then from there, I went on and done a healing course, and I've got the certificate for that. And that's where I started, to be honest, Stephen.
That's lovely. I do love that you're a healer. No, I'm not.
But it's true.
Yeah, you can heal. Yeah. I think many of us have these conversations with spirit and they say, do that. And you're going, no, I'm not. And they go, yes, you are. But it's gone completely out of my head, but what I really love, what I want to say to you is, Pat, that when we work together on our monthly Zoom, some beautiful, beautiful high energy comes through.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And it is so serene. So I'll agree with your mentor.
Well, I didn't really know the lady, but
no,
she
surprised
me.
Healer. So did you sit in a trance circle? Or was
no,
it like
no. What I done when people used to ask me to do healing for them, I used to do healing. And then one day I was on Ben's Nothing Fancy Church, and he said to me about the healing. I said, yes. He said, you do trance healing? I said, well, I do it in my own way. I get pictures of people that are really ill, and I just stare into the picture and I do my circulated breathing, and all of a sudden I'm talking to myself and talking to the spirit world, and then my eyes go blur. I don't see anything, and I'm probably in that for half an hour or so, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. And then I come back out and you're away with the fairies, to be honest. And that's how I did it. I did it my own way, never taught or anything. But Ben told me I should be teaching it. But I don't think I'm a teaching type of person,
Yeah.
To be honest,
you know
Stephen.
What, Pat? I could do it. I'm like you, I can do it. But trying to teach someone is a whole different ball game.
Absolutely.
I do make some ham-fisted attempts at teaching, But
Yeah.
you know, you can do it, and you just picked it up naturally over the years, haven't you? You
Yeah,
know,
that's it. You
but
do it for yourself.
yeah, but wording it and trying to put it over to that another person's level of perception is a difficult bit, isn't it, Pat?
Absolutely. It is for me too. It's not my forte. I'm not able to teach. Even when I ran my business and teaching people building work, I'd rather do it myself, than teach somebody, tell them.
Yeah,
And that's the way I am. I'm just that sort of person.
yeah. I was sort of like sometimes I just want to say, "Shut up and let me do it."
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah,
what I didn't
yeah,
want to say that.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. But you
exactly it.
can't say that, can you?
No, no.
So let's say it interests me that you get sent a photo because I've done, even way back in the day, photo readings,
Yeah,
and you can get the vibration of the person in the photo,
absolutely. Yeah.
and I think you can link for healing through a
Yes.
photo to that
Yes.
person,
Yes.
and it's interesting how you get into that space because, as we've said, everything is energy,
Yes.
and I think with you getting into that space with spirit, you're calling on them for healing for that person, aren't you? And
Exactly.
I
Yes.
think through that vibrational link, you can send that healing through the photo
Yes.
to the physical person wherever they are in the world.
Yeah.
But didn't the Native Americans, or it was some kind of indigenous people, but sort of didn't like the photos taken because they said you were
You,
taking their
you
soul.
you took their soul. I had a discussion about that the other day on a page actually about that they were saying about taking the soul. I said you can't take the soul. You can't do anything to a soul. You take a
Yeah,
picture of their actual body, but the soul you can never, never interfere with. You can't even, like they say, you sell your soul to the devil. These bad people. You can't even do that. You can't. It can't be touched. But they
that's
do
right.
worry
Yeah,
about it. They do worry about it.
yeah. I think fear is a big thing, and I think as healers, that's one thing we come across.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
fear. You know, fear of an early death. You know,
Yes.
fear of getting your soul taken or whatever, or feel that. I mean, I've done a house clearance the other week, all like
Mm.
giving healing, and there's people that don't know think that they're going to get haunted afterwards. I know it sounds ridiculous to the
Yeah.
likes
Yeah.
of me and you, because obviously we're working on as high a level as possible,
Yes.
bring that healing through or whatever's necessary through. And I do think that people need to be educated. At, so like well, you probably do as well. When we're with these people and they're saying, "Well, we get haunted afterwards," we've got to spend the time educating them.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. But some people you can tell till you're blue in the face and they still won't believe you.
That's right, because that fear is
So
blocking it, isn't it?
yeah, once they get that notion in their head, it's very hard to remove it. So
That's right. Yeah. Um, but healing is a massive subject, don't you agree? It comes in all levels.
it comes in many, many forms. Even a nice word, or you walk past somebody and smile, and it brightens their day. And if you brighten their
Yeah.
day, that's healing too. It's
Yeah.
many,
A
many
little
forms.
good morning, they might be feeling low. Oh, he's noticed me,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, and he's wishing
exactly.
well. But I'm often telling people that healing is the higher vibration to mediumship,
Yes,
and a lot of people like that at me, but with healing, what I found, because I went from healing and the mediumistic side developed,
yes,
and because with healing, you encounter all levels, don't you?
yes, absolutely.
Not only physical levels, but mental levels, emotional levels,
Yes,
spiritual levels. And there's many ways healing comes in, doesn't it?
that's right. Yeah,
Silver Birch, the spirit guide, said that healing can be given for the spirit or physical problems that are caused by the spirit. So,
yes,
and that that thought um, reminded me of an old lady years ago who I channeled healing for. She had a very swollen leg,
yeah,
and after the healing, the leg went down to normal size. But I often wonder if she had a swollen leg in spirit. if her spirit form, because Silver Birch teaches us that the physical body of matter is manifested from the spirit.
Yes, they do say
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
so and the fact that they mirror each other. So if we've got a swollen leg, for instance, all right, or we've got a bad cough,
Yeah.
Is that this is just I'm just questioning myself now. Is that reflected from our spirit that we're going through that suffering for a learning, for a lesson?
Well, they often say that you bring through things from your past lives too, and it's continuation. So you might have had some major injury in your previous life, and it manifests again in the new life.
Yeah,
I'm not sure of that now. I wouldn't know on that, but I've heard it talked about many times. So.
yeah. I mean, I've come across people, and I've given healing to people. There was one lady in particular that was frightened of. She wouldn't swim anywhere. She
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
even have a bath. She was that frightened of water. She'd have a shower.
yeah,
No, and she went to a regression therapist, and it turned out that she had drowned
yeah,
in a previous life, and that's where she had a fear of water. So that was working. The healing was purely on a spiritual level
absolutely.
to release that fear of that happening that happened in 18 something or whenever it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you find yourself working in that way, Pat? You
Um,
know, just feeling for the spirit?
I I haven't done it that way, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to move into that. I just heal people of I don't say heal them just of, but they have many illnesses, and you do your best to do that and heal them. And I've not come across anything that the spirit needs healing at the moment. So
Yeah, because this is what I was taught,
yeah,
and is that you get the spirit guides for the need.
yes,
So if you get somebody that's getting bad migraines, you're going to get the spirit guides, the healing guides that can deal with migraines.
yes,
Or if you've got somebody there that's got something that went wrong in a past life that's affecting them now,
yes,
you will get the guides for that.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I
People
was told the
doesn't,
same.
yeah, people don't realise that there's a. I don't want to say hierarchy because that's a bad word, isn't it?
But there
Hierarchy.
there is though really higher
Yeah,
realms, isn't there?
yeah,
Like
there is. Yeah,
people have got 2 guides, they've got 4 guides, they might have 6 guides, but behind them might be another 200 angels or whatever for all different aspects of different pain. So yeah, that's exactly it.
yeah. Yeah, you're getting the guide or guides that's right for the job. A lot of people
Yeah,
ask me how many guides have you got, and I say I don't honestly know.
no, I don't know.
I've got the main sort of group that I work with, but sometimes one or two of them have disappeared for 1 or 2, 3 years.
Yeah,
But remembering that there's the guides helping loved ones through, there's the guides standing in protection, there's the ones bringing in energy forward, there's the ones bringing information forward. So it can be a cast of thousands, not only when a medium's working, but when a healer's
but
working.
see, I was on Elaine Thorpe's trance one time, and I asked Jonathan, who's my oh god, I can't think of it. I've gone blank there. My main guide, for protection and that. And she said you got Maximus and you've got Jan. But I said, who else do I have as around me? She said, Genevieve stepped in. She said, to be honest, dear, we're all here for you. So she never gave me an answer of who I had for this or that. So,
Yeah,
but
I
you
just
you
think it's
do,
a cast of thousands.
yeah, absolutely.
All right. I mean, for the everyday person that thinks once you're dead sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, and you won't change that from some of them.
Yeah, yeah, no matter what you do, you know what I mean? It's that's getting on to another subject. I'm going to shut up about that, right? Because I really want to talk about healing. It's my passion as well as it is yours.
Yes.
That. But you've got somebody that's just going throughout their lives, and they're thinking once you're dead, or whatever. And they won't know how many guides they got. I mean, for us who are working, who are serving, we know that we've got our main guides, but there's a lot of backup guides, and as you said, angels. That leads me on to the next thing. Have you been aware of angelic healing or angels around you, Pat?
I one day I was having a coffee and I was leaning on my worktop, just daydreaming out the window because I have a farm, so I'm looking over the hills, the rolling hills, and all of a sudden I was sat there like that, but I watched this big, tall angel, pure white. He looked about 9-10 foot tall. He had the wings up like that, and he just floated up and up and up, and I watched him go up and up and up, and then I shook my head and it was gone. But I was that I was talking to Ben. Well, Ben said to me, "Oh, so I understand you saw an angel last week." "Oh, I did," I said. He said, "Who was it?" "I don't know," I said. "Don't know who it was." He said, "It was Raphael, and you should know these things." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, you know." So yeah, you get the angelic healing, and you see I've seen one angel. I'm not going to say I've seen lots of angels. I haven't. I've seen one. But yeah, you do pull them in when you're doing
Yeah,
the healing.
I see them through my mind's eye.
Yeah.
There's only once where I've had like angelic energy there physically.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? The kind of when I work with you, there is a lot of angelic vibration there with you.
Yes.
So I
Well,
can tell you that
we both have it. I think I'm
oh
not gonna.
yeah, that the angels are working
Yeah.
with you. What
But
I'll
when
talk about this because it is healing. In fact, I was giving a message to somebody in Slough Spiritualist Church, and I brought through this lady. No, this gentleman who wanted forgiveness. He was asking the lady who was receiving the message for forgiveness, and she's going, "No, I can't forgive him. He's horrible."
yeah,
Right, and he done this and he done that and all the rest of it. And all of a sudden, three angels appeared to my left.
yeah,
All right, and I couldn't see them with my eyes, but I could see them with my third eye, and
yes,
but I could really feel their presence, if you know what I
yes.
mean.
It's absolutely overpowering. You don't know whether you're
Oh, it is,
excited or you
yeah.
want to cry or whatever.
While she was sitting there saying, "No, I'm having none of it. Get rid of him," and all the rest of it, a gold light, a gold orb of light, come from the middle angel, come past me, and I actually stepped back to get out of the way because it was that physical, and it hit her smack in the chest where her heart is, and she burst into tears.
Oh wow.
And the angel said to me, "That is the healing to help her to find forgiveness."
I've gone cold.
And
Yeah,
that's well. So, you know, anybody that takes up mediumship should have a grounding in healing because it's all about healing.
yeah,
That's how powerful angelic healing can be. And what we were talking about earlier before everybody came on is
yeah.
about healing for the spirit, wasn't it, Pat?
Yes, we're talking of healing for the spirit because they need it too. You know, the
Yeah,
lower entities, as I said earlier, they've actually done mass murders. They've done this. They've done that. They need healing when they're there. They're not going to
yeah,
be in the higher realms. They're going to be down.
yeah. Because what a lot of people don't realise, I know probably the people sitting here with us on Zoom do, but there are many, many levels of spirit or dimensions or planes or whatever you want to
Yes,
call them. Even the earth planes are a dimension of spirit, what my guides tell me. You
yes,
know, it just it's such on a low vibrational frequency, it vibrates in matter as we do. But what I want to say is that there's rescue work circles that deal with people like you're talking about, you know, your
yes,
mass murderers,
yes,
or even down to your nasty, just horrible people. They don't have to be mass murderers, but people who've led a very selfish, narcissistic life or
yes,
whatever, or have got pleasure out of the pain of another.
yeah.
You know, but there are rescue work circles that deal with this.
And that's a good thing because when you die, you take over your consciousness, your memory, or whatever is your consciousness. They don't forget that. They still are that person,
Yeah,
and they need healing.
and if you still want to be close to the earth vibration and you don't want to move on,
Mm.
that's where the healing's needed. But also healing's needed on a soul level, a spiritual level, for those walking about on the earth as well.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
know, like that lady, she needed forgiveness. So, for want of a better way of putting it, the angels zapped her one.
They
You know,
shot her with love.
yeah. So what I'm saying is, Pat, is healing is for everything. It's not just when you've got a bad cold.
No.
Or an headache.
To be honest, I don't think the healing fixes a cold. That's only my opinion. It's the major things that they want to fix, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the big stuff.
Yeah.
And we've got to realise, I think that sometimes our physical ills come from how we are spiritually.
Yeah.
You know, so if you go to a healer, realise that they're going to be, with their healing guys, they're going to be dealing with you in mind, body, and in spirit.
Yes.
The way my guides work with me is they never touch. Do you find that?
No, never been touched. I have been touched when I done healing on myself one time. I thought everybody, and like you've said it, Stephen, heal thyself.
Yeah.
I did it one time. I sort of went into a semi-trance and asked for healing for myself and went on like this. And I asked for it to be healed when I went to bed. And I went to bed that night and thought no more of it. I sat bolt upright at 1 o'clock in the morning. And as I sat up, I was wide awake. It's just like you flicked the switch. And as I just glanced to my left, there was a lady stood there. And I nearly swear to God it was my wife. But as I turned that fraction more, she was still laying in bed. And I didn't even have time to be puzzled. But all of a sudden I heard, relax back. And I was gone. And I woke up about 2.5 hours later. I've never felt so good in my life. The trance guides, the Dr. and Mr. Anderson, don't call him doctor because he's higher than a doctor. Mr. Anderson, he put me
Don't
right.
get the name wrong.
Yeah. I'm a
you'll be in
Mr.
trouble, mate.
Yeah.
So what I want
he
to
came
say
to me.
is, when you're working with your healing guides, when my healing guides are working through me, we've never physically touched the person. Do you find that?
Yes, I never touched him. Never.
Because what I've realised is that they're healing through the spirit, through the aura.
Yeah, it's definitely.
They don't need to touch the physical body. I know it's the old-fashioned term, the laying on of hands. That's what it used to be called, wasn't it?
Yeah,
faith healing. But I feel to say that I think faith healing is wrong because
see, a lot of these people you heal, they don't have faith in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So it's what you and the spirit world put in. It's the spirit world anyway. It's, we just ask.
Yeah.
You also, sorry, Stephen.
Patrick, yeah, go for it, Mo.
You also work with trans doctors, don't you? Because
yes.
I'm lucky enough, I've actually been on the receiving end of that. So I know that actually works.
Yeah.
And that was, it felt like a hands-on thing because as I explained to you, Patrick, I felt the energies come in and it was like being in a vortex. And then as it went back down, it stopped wherever I'd got pain. And at the time I got really, really bad pain and it affected my legs and everything. And it was like, I felt somebody tapping down my spine and they stopped where you would have an epidural. Now, only because I'd had an epidural did I know that, because if you'd never had one, you wouldn't know where they'd stopped at. But they stopped at this epidural spot, and I can't remember another thing. But it was the first time I got out of bed that morning without pain in 2 years. I'd been absolutely racked with pain, and that worked for me. And it lasted about 6 to 8 weeks before the pain started creeping in. But it's a long-term problem I've got with this vessel. But it works and it does. And I think I've said it before to you, haven't I, Patrick, that as healers, when you put it out there, and like Patrick runs a healing circle, same as you, Stephen, when you do it, you send it out to people, but nobody gives you, well, it's very rare people give you feedback. So you don't know whether or not it actually, you start to think, am I doing any good? You start to question yourself. And I've said to Patrick, you should really put, when you're doing the healing, when you're doing your healing list, if you receive energy and you feel any benefit, could you please just drop me a line, even a thank you? Because to me, that's an exchange of energies. You put your energy into and your time into it. It's not a lot to ask for somebody to say thank you.
I agree with that, Mo. Thank you. Young Morag Hibbs Hislop's got a question. If you'd like to unmute and ask away, please.
Yeah. Hi there. Sorry for coming in late. I'm sorry if this is Trance 101, but what I want to ask is, do you think that trance healing can be done long distance? And if so, what are the mechanics?
Absolutely, it can, yeah. That's the main thing I actually concentrate on. I send healing to Canada, I've sent it to Australia, I've sent it to England, I've sent it all around.
Yeah, no, I understand absent healing, I do that. But trance healing, just long distance, is there a difference or no?
Can I? Yeah, sorry, Pat, go for it.
No, I'll leave it with you. Carry on.
Right, okay. I had an experience many moons ago where I used to send absent healing out on a Friday night, Morag. All right.
Yeah.
And there was this one girl at church that had terrible back pain and she'd be off with it for weeks. So I'd send her healing. All right. And I'd channel it, but I'd visualize her in my mind's eye. Okay. And in my mind's eye, I could see like the end of like a Victorian bed, a dressing gown slung over the end of the bed, okay, and a door, and like a lady's, like a little boudoir thing with a mirror on it, what you ladies sit in and do your faces with, and all that, and I could see that, and that went on for weeks. And anyway, this lady come to me, was having cups of tea after the service, and she said to me, do you send healing out on 10 o'clock on a Friday night? And I went, yeah, how do you know? And she said, because I can see your face floating above my bed. All right. So I described the bedroom, and it's her bedroom. All right. So the thoughts and the colours and the love that I was sending her is energy, is psychic energy. Yes, Morag? And they reached her, and it created a link where she could see me and I could see her. Now, you could say that's just absent healing, but with trance healing, as Patrick does, whether it's by a picture or we've got, like, say, if I was giving you trance healing now, Morag, I and my guides come to you through psychic energy. Yep. And although my body's in a state of trance, we are transmitting ourselves to you and giving you healing. Okay, that's why people that I've given trance healing to can feel my presence next to them, and they can feel the hands going around the body and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the experience where I had been sending a friend healing, and this particular night I didn't, and she phoned me the next day to thank me for healing, and I said, well, I didn't send out any healing, and she said she'd woken up in the middle of the night and saw me standing in a blue aura in her room, and she knew she was getting healing. I was totally unaware.
That, in my opinion now, and I might be wrong, is when you astral travel at night and you go and do healing, because you go to sleep at night and that's your vessel, but your soul goes off. It's not going to lay there for 8, 9 hours, 10 hours, whatever you sleep for. It goes off and it works. So
totally. I've got a cat that wakes up every 3 hours, so no.
Oh Lord. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard people talking about trance healing, distant trance healing. I always imagine trance healing as being physical and the guide coming through and doing the work, which I know they do with spirit healing, but you're given over more to the guide. I understand that. So I wasn't sure how that worked in a distance. I mean, are we even necessary for that to work, or can we just ask our guides to go and do it? Or what is our part in that if it's distant healing?
Well, it's when we consciously take part in it, like I was visualizing Sue and sending healing colours to her with the energy of love from myself and asking my spirit guides to go to her and give healing. That's creating a connection.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, all right, we're physical, but everything's energy.
Yeah.
And spirit will teach us that thought is the most powerful thing in the universe.
Yes.
Okay. So when we're creating a thought and we're visualizing a person, we're creating a link with them. You know what I mean?
What do the guides then do? Are they using our energy to go there? Are they coming through us?
They're using our thoughts of love and our energy to create the healing, plus energy that they brought, source energy, to give the healing. We set the intention by kicking it off, if you know what I mean. Okay, and Patrick's dead right. Many moons ago, I used to be taken onto the lower levels astrally to give healing to people that are on real low levels. Okay, and it's not only just me; it's everybody's. Morag, you've created the intention by sitting down and saying, right, I'm going to give this lady some healing. So the energy of that has created the link, and then they said, right, we'll take her out astrally to give healing. Remember, we vibrate on a very low frequency spiritually, because we're physical, we matter, right? Spirit need our physical energy to be able to transmit the healing through. Does that make sense?
Does, yeah.
Okay, they use us as the medium to bring through that healing. That's all right. Oh, your cat's awake.
Yeah, the cat's awake. That's its.
Yeah,
that's its 3
awake.
hours there.
Yeah, it's had its 3 hours. Yeah,
Attention seeker.
but because I've often asked this question, well, why use me when you can just go direct? And it's because we're of such a low vibration physically and in the world of matter that they use us to be able to vibrate that healing through.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. I'm glad you come on. That was a good question.
That was a good question. I like that.
And Mo, I'm glad you
Yes. But
well.
see, the thing is, we had the same thing on the healing circle I do on a Thursday. There's a girl on there that came on and she said, you were in my bedroom there the other night. I said, no, I wasn't. She said, you were. I saw you in there. Didn't she, Mo? You were there. And I said, oh, I did healing at night. And then I went to sleep. But that's when you go out of your body, astral travel, and you're just like you said, they saw me in the room. And I actually was on Jonathan then the next time. And I asked Jonathan, and I said, I didn't remember that. He said, you don't need to remember it. You don't.
Right.
You're so high now, he said, you don't need to remember it, but you are out there doing it as you sleep. So that's how I knew that.
Yeah.
I also
I
think
think-
it's spirit's responsibility to make sure that we are rested.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Working the cat as well.
Yeah. Could you, healing guides, could you please conk out her cat for 8 hours? Right, see, I've done it now.
Do you think as well when there's a natural disaster that we go and help the healers and the
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I
It could
think
be
so.
anything.
I think so as well. I
You
mean,
know,
sometimes you wake up tired and you think, what on earth was I doing?
I don't know about Patrick or any other healers that may be watching, that around 9/11, should I say, not 2/11, but 9/11, I was knackered for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because of all the healing that was going to New York, and all the people that not only died, because a lot of people went over very quickly.
Yes.
In a natural disaster, a lot of people die quickly, but also the grieving loved ones that they leave behind. So there's so much healing that is needed. But also like things like earthquakes and things like that, earth healing.
Yeah.
I mean, more people can see. I think it as well, when there is a natural disaster as healers, we automatically sit down and we pray every same healing to the situation. But I do think as well that we go out in the astral and it's fascinating. I mean, how do you, I've got loads of questions. Sorry, everybody, if anybody else wants to jump in, feel free.
I'll let you know when it's time to be quiet. Okay. Right.
As long as we finish before 10 o'clock tonight, because I go to bed around then.
Yeah, that's my bedtime too.
I'm
Yeah.
expecting a visitor, so she might not pop up soon, and I'll let you go. So as a trance healer then, because trance interests me, I'm sitting in some trance blending classes. I'm not interested, sorry Spirit, but I'm not interested in speaking philosophy. It's the healing aspect that interests me. But how do you, like for instance, the other night, I find it quite hard to let go. I think I'm getting to a point now. I sit a lovely class on a Wednesday night with a woman called Debbie Charlton. And I think her class, we sit for 40 minutes just in the silence. And the last time we did it on Wednesday night, I suddenly had this sensation of kind of being held, but also when I had my shot, as if I was moving forward, as if I was sitting in a car and travelling down the road quite quickly. Is that normal?
That's spirit stepping into your aura.
Mm.
We can get different sensations. Mine's rocking backwards and forwards. Okay, other people feel like they're in motion.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Is it a proper circle that you're sitting in, Morag?
It's really it's a healing trance group. So basically it's people who do trance, are interested in trance, come and they just sit, we ask the guides to blend, and they just either just sit in that energy, or we send out healing to people we want to send healing to.
Yeah, I like that. No, that's nice. Keep going with that, Morag. But what I want to say is philosophy is essential, because then you get to understand why things happen.
But don't you think everything has been said?
Sorry, say that again.
Don't you think everything that philosophy has got to say has been said?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people that don't know it. So there's a spirit teaching, all knowledge should be shared. You know, I know what I know, what I've built up over the years, what I've gained over the years in teaching from spirit. There's a lot of people that don't know what I know, so I share it with them.
Yeah.
Okay, to help give them a greater understanding. And that's what you
suppose it's just over a number of years I've heard it all. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
But the philosophy doesn't change. That's what I'm trying to say. But
that's right. It's so simple, but there's a lot of people that need it because we're all in different states of awareness and perception. So if they come to you as a healer, perhaps there's stuff that they need to know on a spirit teaching thing that can help to give them healing moving forward, how they live their lives, how they deal with things mentally and emotionally and things like that. Okay, getting back to Patrick's earlier point, Morag, but I used to sit in a general development and with a trance medium years ago, and part of that session was trance, and there was a spirit guide called Lee who used to come through, Ian, the medium's husband, and he said, we all suffer in accordance with the need, all right, for our soul need. Okay, so getting back to Patrick's point about faith and stuff like that, old young Derek wants to come in, right? What I want to say is we never promise a cure.
No.
Okay, because this may sound very hard to say, Morag, but that person is meant to suffer that in varying degrees for their journey, through their spiritual journey on earth.
Yeah. I do understand that. I remember a medium said to me years ago, you can give a relative healing because they've got a condition you want to help cure, and you can spend ages giving them healing and see no results, and go down the street to a stranger with the same condition and start to see results. So you have to accept it.
It depends on what their journey is on this soul spirit. You know, I'm sure Pat's the same as me, Morag. We never promise a cure.
No, you can't promise a cure because it's not the done thing. But
it's illegal,
at the same,
anyway.
No, illegal is a sick bird.
Yeah, anybody says I can heal this and I can heal that's lying. All right.
No, because their path might even be at the end of the day that they have to cross over in 3 months' time. So you can't say that you can cure anything. You just do your best.
Yeah, I always say, I know it will do you some good in some way, whether it brings you a little bit of peace or you're pain free for half an hour or whatever. It will do you some good, or it will help you on a spiritual level. It will help. I don't say you're passing, but it will help you
Yeah.
on a spiritual level. But getting back to a point that Derek made, young Derek Spall, and is that people only go to healers when it's sort of like the last chance saloon. Like when it's terminal, when they've been given 6 weeks to live. What I want to say is, folks, for everybody, and I'm going to ask Pat this question as well. If you get diagnosed with something that's going to be a lifelong thing or life-threatening, okay, please go to a healer straight away. You know, because I believe medical science and healers can work together and can do the best for a person's well-being. We only seem to get people when they're on their last legs.
Yeah, they should come early, but like you say, doctors and healers go hand in hand.
I
They
agree.
do complement each other, without a doubt. But they do come to you when they're on the last legs. I had a woman, she messaged me and she said, I've been sent by my guide. She was a medium. She said she was sent by her guides to me to get healing for her husband. He had lung cancer. He had cancer in the kidney, and he was very bad. And I done healing every night for about, I'd say 2 months. And then I forgot all about it. And then all of a sudden I got a post through thanking me. He's cancer clear. And I said, well, that's because he worked with the doctors and myself. But you can't guarantee that's going to happen for everyone, because it might be their time to go.
Yeah.
So you do get feedback now and again, but not very often.
Yeah, we can't get involved in that when it's their time to go and all the rest of it.
No.
I mean, I've personally experienced, going to give somebody healing, and I've sensed their spirit starting to get ready to move on. You know, you probably have, Pat, as well.
I have. I had a lady come to me. She wanted healing for a friend, and she wanted to pay for my flights over to England. And I said, no, it's all right. I can afford the flight, so I'm all right. But she wanted me to come over and stay in a hotel. And I said, leave it with me, because it didn't resonate with me. And about 3 days later, she was gone. She was gone.
Yeah. I had a similar experience, Pat, years and years ago. I was asked to give healing to a lady in hospital in the cancer ward, Winter Hospital near Slough. And they offered me money. I said, I can't take the money and all the rest of it, but I'll happily go along. And it all had to be cloak and dagger, you know what I mean? Because back in the day, I think this is about 1984, something like that. Yeah, you couldn't sort of go there and sort of like give healing, because you'd have got chucked out of the hospital. Right. And I sort of said I was a special visitor. And even though she was Asian, so I obviously wasn't family and stuff like that. But this lady pulled out a big roll of like £20 notes out of her bedside drawer and said, heal me. I said, I can't heal you. No amount of money is going to heal you. All right, so I can give you healing, hopefully give you a bit of peace and a little bit of pain free. But she was terminal. She was on her last legs. But we should never say, I'm going to help you over.
No.
You know what I mean? That's so wrong to say, you know. And so anyway, I give her healing, and I went away, and she was screeching that, that I was useless because I couldn't heal her. And money and all this. I said, no amount of money is going to help you out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that affected me for years, that did.
It would.
But, what was I going to say? But it's, again, getting back to the point of philosophy, we need to know these things. How the universe works, how the realms of spirit works, and how we work with it. So a good level of spirit teaching is sort of like, you wouldn't go and bang a nail in with a sponge, would you?
No.
So you have to make sure you've got the right tools and job. And if you've got that knowledge, before you go into any situation, it teaches you how to handle it.
Yeah.
You know, the simple teaching, we never speak of a death, you know, or stuff, you know, a future death. But what was I going to talk about? Do you experience colour, Pat?
No, I don't. I do see it when I'm meditating or I'm going down in a circle. I can see colours flash in front of me, but I would never see auras. I've never seen auras. I'd never see that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've sensed auras. I can sense aura and what
Can you?
colour.
I can't get it at all.
It.
But I do see flashes of purple and I see blues and I see greens going around, and I've seen little balls come down through the ceiling and they hover there and then they just fade away. But I don't see auras.
That's a level of spirit you got coming to you.
Yeah.
No, I mean the level of the healing. But when I'm giving healing, I start with a base colour white, and I wait for spirit to change it. Because the colour and the whatever colour it is, and the vibration of that colour is right for that one particular person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All start with white or blue.
It's very bright white though, Stephen, isn't it? It's nearly blinding.
Yeah. And
So.
yeah, whatever they change it to is the right colour for the job. Because getting back to my earlier point with Morag, that thought is the most powerful energy in the universe. Thought equals vibration, vibration equals colour. Yeah. So what those colours that you're seeing is a level of consciousness, and it's vibrating on that level of consciousness.
So
that
is
level of awareness.
is that like the pulsing purple that you see when you close your eyes and start to?
Yeah. Yeah. You should know more. That's coming from a very high level of spirit. That's all your compassion and all that.
I thought everybody saw it. I thought that was just
No, not everybody sees it. No, not everybody sees it.
No, but
it depends on your level of perception, Morag.
But see, when I was young, and like Morag said that, you know, she thought everybody sees it. I can understand that, because when I was a kid, I used to astral travel and I'd float up out of my body and I'd go around the landing and down the stairs, and I remember one day walking through a door, just going through the door, and ooh, how did that happen? And as a child, you think everybody does that. You don't discuss things. So I can understand what Morag's saying about she thought everybody sees it, because they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did astral travel when I was a kid, but after my dad died, I was 13, just before I turned 14, there was a couple of strange things happened that way. My sister came, I was sitting in my bedroom reading a book, and my sister came in and said to me, "What did you want?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You just came into my room and you were looking for something, and I asked you what you were looking for, and you didn't answer me." And then she went, "You weren't wearing those clothes, you were wearing your other trousers." And so what was that about? It was almost like I was engrossed in this book, and my spirit went, "This is bored," and went off for a wander. And another time, long story short, I woke up suddenly with an alarm going off and jumped to the side of the bed and was aware of shooting right out and across the room. And the same sister, we were sharing a room and she was in her bed. And it all happened in a split second, and I was aware of turning back in again, but she's looking at the corner where I went and saying, "What are you doing over there?" And I waved to her to the other side of the room. But it's one of those things like trance that I can't do it well. I haven't got to the point with trance where I can just go into trance and talk, or I don't have the confidence.
Right. Morag. It's not only when we want trance to happen, it's whether spirit are prepared for trance to happen. You know, because I always tell people when I demonstrate trance, I don't know if they're going to come along or not. You know what I mean? So, you know, you might be throwing rocks at me and I'll have to dive into my car or something, you know. But what I want to say is Morag, that, and it follows along with what I tell a lot of people, you know, we develop ourselves to work with spirit, our inner selves. At the moment, you're lacking confidence, but it's not about you, Morag. It's about getting spirit through. It's about the communication. And It's
I think as well it's because I've been used to evidential mediumship, which is quite interactive, and then whereas trance is a bit like healing, it's really passive and allowing, and you know.
yeah, you allow God through, but everybody's squeaking for evidence and evidence. Do you know what my guide Red Cloud says to him? Can you prove to me that you're here? How do I know you're here? I can hear you, I can see you, but I don't know. Prove to me that you're here. Because he gets a bit fed up with being asked for evidence of his existence all the time.
Yeah.
Remember, they are personalities too.
Yeah, no, I
Absolutely.
mean, I was coming to a place where I was starting to back off the mediumship, not because I didn't like it or what people got from it. I just felt as if there was something more that I should be doing. Then I got a message from somebody. It was my birthday, and she sent me a birthday message and reminded me of that I had given her a reading and brought through her father, and she said it changed her life. So mediumship itself is a form of healing.
It is healing. It's all healing, Morag. No matter what we're doing, you know, me and Pat are here just talking about one aspect.
Yeah.
Our role, right, and I've been a practicing medium for 40 years, Morag. Our role is not to prove survival. It's a part of it. It's a part of it, yeah, so that the person knows who's communicating. All right.
Yeah.
And for those that need that evidence to say, yes, there is a life eternal. But our main role is to bring upliftment.
To what, sorry?
Bring upliftment, peace, healing.
Yeah.
That's our role. Evidence is a part of it, yeah, but each receives in accordance with the need. That is a spirit teaching. So they will get from spirit what they need. Not what they want, what they need.
Yeah. But a lot of what, this is going to sound awful and I don't mean it to, but a lot of what passes for mediumship is actually a lot on the psychic, a lot of the time.
Spirit use psychic energy to communicate, so it's all psychic.
I know, I mean, I've been told that, but I was always taught separate the two. This is psychic, this is mediumship, and that's what I find hard.
Rubbish.
Yeah.
Sorry, not what you're saying is rubbish, but what all I'm saying is spirit are using psychic energy to communicate. All right. If I said to you, you know, you're planning to go to Ibiza for your summer holidays, that's very psychic, isn't it? All right. But if I say granddad's here and he used to wear a bowler hat, that's mediumship, isn't it? But it's the same energy that's bringing me both messages.
Yeah, I mean, I did ask somebody, what's the difference? Somebody whose circle I was sitting in years ago, and she said, if you get the spirit identified first and then start giving that kind of information, then you know it's coming from spirit. But if you jump right into, you're needing a new pair of glasses or whatever, you're on a psychic level.
Yeah.
But I know that I think you're right in that during a reading, any reading, we're going up and down the spectrum.
Yeah, I told somebody off recently for reading from the etheric, which is very, very psychic. All right, because to me that's an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you've got stuff in your etheric that you don't want blurting out in front of people. You know what I mean? And putting it lightly. But yeah, I always, you know, any medium should say how they're getting that information.
It sometimes comes out without you realising. I don't really do psychic readings, private readings of that, but I used to work in a checkout in Tesco, and this particular evening it was very quiet, and you go into automatic on the checkout, you go mad. So I'm on the checkout, and this guy comes along with a pizza and a box of chocolates, and I put the pizza in the bag, and as I picked up the chocolates, I put it in the bag and thought, I wonder who the chocolates are for, and without missing a beat, I turned to him and went, oh, you've got a bit to apologise to do. And then I went, oh my God. And he went, yeah, tell me about it. And I went, how did you know? I was like, I've got one of you at home. You're all the same. And I shuffled him out the door. He backed out the door smiling. But that was totally unexpected. So was I overshadowed because I really didn't give it a thought. I just came out. And I was always taught, don't be a dripping psychic. Don't start giving random messages to people. And
I agree. I agree with that 100%. One day, I used to be a store detective, Morag, and one day I was about to arrest this woman. She'd been thieving in boots where I worked, but she was in McDonald's with her kids. All right. And rather than create a scene in McDonald's, I was waiting for her to walk out. I'm standing in the queue behind her, so I didn't lose her. The woman behind me tapped me on the shoulder and started giving me a message. And she didn't know who I was. So I spun around and said, "Did I ask you for a message?" And she went, "No." I said, "Well, sod off then. You're invading my privacy." Sorry for the language, folks. But you're invading my privacy. I didn't ask you for a message. You know what I mean? And the woman I was about to arrest sort of went like that, you know. But she went off with the huff because I was rude to her. But if you're doing that, if you're going along tapping people on the shoulder saying, "Oh, you know, whatever, psychically, you need to give an apology or you need a new pair of glasses," that's an invasion of their privacy. You know what I mean? If they're sitting in the church in front of you, or they've contacted you for a reading, fair enough. But while they're out shopping or whatever, no. My teacher always told me, wait to be asked, and that's what.
Absolutely. I agree with that. That just happened. It bypassed my brain. And
yeah, we got Derek here, who's been a platform medium for many, many moons, longer than me. And you're like me, ain't you, Derek? You just wait for a church to phone up or message or whatever.
Yeah, I won't stop someone in the street or even talk to them in queues or anything else unless they actually ask me. And then they got to ask me quite politely as well, because a lot of times I just don't accept it. I just stay as I am because I've got the agreement with Spirit that I work at certain times and in certain situations, and that's the only time that I'll do. And I think, as you said, I think it's brilliant the way you said it, is that she's invading your space. And what was it also I was thinking about? Oh yeah, you're talking about also reading the aura is not spiritual either, to be quite honest with you. That's on the psychic level as well. You're actually seeing the colours that are around them and the situations that are around them. And a lot of times you can't do that. They don't want to. They don't want people to know what you know, or they don't want you to know what they know. And again, I think that's our protection as well, because lots of things could be contributed to us saying something out of the ordinary, as they say. That part about a very, very good healer friend of mine many years ago when I was in London, and don't take this wrong, Patrick, but he was a fantastic healer, very on the edge of trance, because it wasn't accepted then in the respect to healing. And he was that good that he was someone in Birmingham wanted him to come up for healing. As you say, not of the English faith, but and they, same as you said, Stephen, that they were going to get him he could stay in a place up there and all his meals we paid and everything else, and they'd pay him X amount of money per day. And he said no. And I said, "What do you mean no?" And he said, "Well, just pay me the fare to get up to you. That's all I want, nothing else." Oh, you can't be that good then. And she discontinued communication. So and she was drawn to someone else that was I'm not going to say it because I'll put my foot in it if I say who they are and what they did. But anyway, needs to say it didn't work out for her. And as you said, Stephen, I knew that she wasn't far short of going over, and we can't tell them that. All we can do is to be there at the end to assist the spirit to go over. And I think that's how I look at that.
But getting back to your point, Derek, where you said no disrespect to you, Patrick. I don't think of myself as the best, the second best, the third best, or even the 20th best. I look at myself, and I said to Stephen the other day, I always look up to Stephen and I look up to others. I don't look at myself as equals. I look at myself as I'm just Patrick and everyone else is fantastic. That's how I look at healers.
Yeah, but it's not you, it's your spirit guides.
Absolutely, yeah,
They're the ones that are doing the work, but
they are.
they have to have the vessel to start it off.
Yep.
And that's why I respect you as well. No, the reason why I said that is years ago, there wasn't a connection for trance and healing together. Even the SNU didn't want to know about it. But even they have actually swayed more. The reason why I know that is the SNU headquarters in Stansted used to do open days. In one day per year, they're doing an open day where you could come and get tasters of different things of happening, etc. And I went there one day, and I was because that was just about the way the time that the SNU were changing more to believing in trance healing. And there was a medium called Steve Upton. Now, Steve Upton he's from Yorkshire, about 6'7". No, really sort of, really. I tell you, it was a plus in the end, because he was actually doing a demonstration of trance healing. Now, that was never been heard of in Stansted before, ever. But the funniest part was the protecting medium was the head of the SNU, sorry. So that's how much they'd changed. And when I saw him, and he was in a white coat, all the lights were out, I could still see him. And when he went into trance healing, he went from 6'7" to about 5'3", literally like that, being condensed into one little spot. And that's why I think that it's a very specialized thing, trance healing, in that respect. As you said, you don't need hands-on. I used to do hands-on healing years ago, but I don't do that anymore. I haven't done it for many years now, to be quite truthful with you. I spend more time sending out absent healing, rather than, even when I'm working on the platform, I'm sending out healing all the time. But everyone I connect to, when I'm giving messages to, I'm also giving them healing at the same time. And that might seem counterproductive, but it's true, because I can tell them what they're feeling, and I can tell them where the healing is being done as well. And this is what they're amazed about. But it's not me. As I said, I'm just a vessel. I'm just the, I said before, I'm just a speaker. I'm not the voice or the power that comes through that. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I want to suggest about that very tall trance healer that his spirit communicator, his guide must have been 5'3".
Well, yeah, he was.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He had a Chinese guide that came through. And you know, most Chinese people are not tall, are they? To be quite truthful.
That's right.
He was very small, and I think it was also actually seeing him actually shrink that convinced me more about the trance side of healing as well.
Yeah, that gets into the physical realms, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is, I can remember when I first started working as a powerhouse in the healing sanctuary at Slough, I could see like there was Brian the healer's hands floating around the person, but I could also see all these other hands.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought, wow, amazing, you know. But I just want to sort of like just give you this one last little story where healing comes into mediumship. Years ago, I was demonstrating at Hemel Hempstead Church, and my guides were showing me this guy's aura, and I could see a dark patch in his aura at the back of his neck. So I told him that, and then give him his message from his loved ones. About 4 years later, he wrote to me and said, "Do you remember me? You saw a dark patch in my aura at Hemel Hempstead." And I went, "Yeah, I remember." And he said, "Well, actually, where you saw that dark patch is a brain tumour. Okay, can you come up and give me healing?" He'd had all the chemo, and he was going through 6 weeks of radiotherapy as a last-ditch attempt. All right. So I drove to Luton from Slough once a week to give him healing. And sadly, he passed away, but he was desperate. And I said, "There's no way I can promise you a cure. We can just do our best, you know." But yeah.
You assisted him going over.
Yeah,
Teach him more.
yeah, trying to get him more at peace.
More
Yeah,
open to spirit, so that he could actually go over gently rather than go over in panic. Even though they still do, the reassurance of spirit around them at the time gives them that way of understanding there is another way forward once they leave the body.
no, it was very sad because, you know, they were only 30 odd, about 30s, middle 30s in age, and they had 2 small children and a wife, and he desperately didn't want to leave them. So it's a healer can play a real role, with spirit, with what spirit channel through them to bring some kind of peace and upliftment in, and pain relief and all the rest of it.
Another question, Robin.
Yeah, all right.
Do you think that healing can be done in the aura before a ailment becomes an illness?
Yeah, I believe in prevention rather than cure. What do you think of that, Patrick?
Absolutely believe in that too. Absolutely believe in prevention. Yeah.
The way my guides work is they like to tell people stuff before it happens, before it becomes a problem. And then they say, this is how you can deal with it. If you deal with it now, it won't be a problem later on.
I always tell my wife that she'll live to about 94 because all the healing, when I go to bed at night, I put my hand on her head or whatever. I always touch her.
Yeah.
And so you're giving her healing. I said, I'll probably die at about 80 and you'll live on to about 94.
No, 194. Yeah. It's an amazing thing. I mean, healing shouldn't be seen as sort of like some sideshow trick or anything like that. No. It's very, very powerful. And myself, Derek and Patrick have just have witnessed for ourselves just what it can do and what people call it phenomena, but it's just the natural workings of spirit working.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not supernatural or phenomena or paranormal. It's just a natural.
It's what they do, and it's what they do best, Stephen, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but on a larger scale, we're learning about, with healing, we're learning about universal life and how it all works and stuff like that, and how we can become across. You don't need letters after your name to be a healer. You don't need to be an angelic Reiki master or anything like that. All right.
No.
You just need to have a kind and compassionate heart. I was asked this question: what do you need to be a healer or a medium? And I said, a kind, loving, compassionate heart.
And that's it.
That's what spirit needs you to have, not letters after your name or how many courses.
And or neither. You don't need a certificate either, Stephen.
That's right.
It means nothing really.
Yeah. You've got to have that love within yourself and that compassion and that kindness. That's what will make you. Morag, please carry on with your journey. All right. Remember to become an empty vessel for spirit and allow them to work through you.
Thanks very much, and thanks for listening to my ramblings as well.
No, that's all right. Evidence is a natural consequence of the message anyway. All right? Because it's like the trance set I've done last week for people. They're going, oh, great confirmation. But my guy was telling them stuff that they already knew. And that's what evidence is, telling people stuff that they already know. You know what I mean?
Well,
but
actually,
where healing comes in is telling people what they're not aware of.
I always think the best evidence is something they have to go away and check.
Oh, yeah. Just very quickly, because it's come up to poetry. I remember doing a live, and this lady, this woman's mother was showing me a silver snuff box. She's going, no. Like that. I said, well, she keeps showing me. I'm not going to take it away because she keeps showing me a silver snuff box. Anyway, her mother had passed away, obviously, and they were still clearing out her house. And she went, and this lady left the live, went and checked through her belongings and found a silver snuff box.
Oh, wow.
And that was a wow moment for me. I'm sure Derek's had many like me, and I'm sure Patrick's had many of them sort of experiences like me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they will give what is needed. Anyway, God bless you all. Thanks for joining us. It's poetry time now.
Okay.
And I'll read one of my poems. And I've clicked on the wrong bit as usual. Right. Okay. Hopefully they will draw me to the right poem, because they always do. Right, I'm going to read this poem out. It's a poem I wrote for my dad. My dad's in spirit. But I took the wife out for a harvester meal one night, and I was missing him, but I just felt him sitting there at the table. So I wrote this poem about me sensing my dad having a steak and chips with us at the harvester. Anyway, it's titled Empty Chair. Breaking bread with my beloved, my gaze drawn to the empty chair. I tell her I wish you were here to meet and break bread with us, for you to meet my wife and to know of my happiness. Sensing the essence of your presence, sadness fills my throat with a longing that burns to say the words I need you to hear. My heart knows you are over there, sitting in the empty chair. Love you, Dad. And thanks for listening, folks.
Thank you,
So
Stephen.
anyway,
That was good.
you know, because healing can help people that are grieving.
Absolutely.
Because grieving hurts, doesn't it?
Oh, it
Hurts us
does. Yeah.
physically. You know, it's all right saying your loved ones are with you and proving that they're with you, but it don't take the pain away. That's where healers come in.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ranting and raving now. I'm going to shut up. I'll get in trouble. You know, because I have to watch what I'm saying, like you do, Derek, sometimes. Anyway, all right. Anyway, thanks for coming on, Patrick. It's been great to have you on here.
Thanks, Stephen.
All
Thanks.
right. We'll get you on again and we'll talk about some
Okay.
stuff. Derek, you must come on sometime because I'd like you to share your knowledge with us. Keith, Morag, thank you. Anyway, God bless you all. Oh, yeah,
Thank
people,
you.
would you mind if I put this on YouTube?
Yeah, carry on. Carry on.
Right. Yeah, it's all right with Derek. What about you, Keith?
Yeah.
Morag, is it all right with you? Put it on YouTube?
I forgot it was being recorded, but sure, yeah, fine.
Yeah. It's just that it's on Facebook Live, so I can download it and put it on YouTube. But I think as much as Morag won't like it, but some teachings come out today.
Yeah,
All right. So,
Morag had some good
I'm joking,
questions.
Morag. All right. But yeah, I think it's important for people to hear it. You know, so anyway, God bless you all. Take care.
Thank you. Take care,
Have a
everyone.
wonderful day, all of you.
Bye. See you, Stephen.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.